I'm back in England for my beautiful book tour, and I'm basing myself at my parents' house on the edge of Manchester, where I lived from the age of 8. So I'm off to buy a camper van for my book tour, and I'm taking my younger brother Dan with me because he knows all about cars, and he's going to help me decide whether it's the right van or not. What do you think? I'm going to take it for a test drive. Well, Dan is. I haven't driven for 5 years, so I don't want to drive someone else's camper van. Well, I think it's all a bit dodgy.
Yeah.
He didn't put anything on the ad about anything that was wrong with it. He doesn't even know if it's had a new cam belt change or... It's just dodge.
It's got as much rust on it as my 93 Discovery. And I paid £2,000 for my Discovery. And you'd be chucking an extra, almost double into this. It's not worth 3.6.
It smells.
Overheated to me.
Yeah. Okay, if this was like the Dragon's Den, it's a no. Sorry, it's a no from me.
It's a no from me.
It's a no. That's 2 no's, I'm afraid. Now, I've been commissioned by consultant psychiatrist Dr. Russell Razak, who wrote the foreword to My Beautiful Psychosis. He's commissioned me to make a film about open dialogue, which features at the end of my book. And so I haven't used this kit for 5 years, so I've got to test it all out and make sure it's still working. And I actually can't remember, right, my brain can't remember. I look at it and go, oh my God, I can't remember. I can't, look, I'm not even taking that off. I can't remember how to use the camera. But the interesting thing is that my fingers remember. Look, they just know what to do. They know where all the little buttons are. It's called muscle memory. I'm heading into London to film this year's Open Dialogue Conference, and because I've not found a camper van yet, I'm having to get the train.
It's really great to see people in person. It's actually been years since I've seen some of you face to face. And this interest in open dialogue has been very much something that has been national. So we've had, I remember first being called into an agency about 10 years ago and being asked to tell us about this open dialogue thing we've been hearing about in various countries around the world. And there's been a lot of exploration and interest. We obviously started the DESI trial, which was funded as one of the largest model of care mental health trials in the world. It's the biggest grant that has been received by mental health, a piece of research in this country in recent years. Another lived experience voice is Emma's over here, who's doing a filming the conference today. Emma's had her own lived experience, and I know she doesn't mind me talking about it because she wrote a book about it. called My Beautiful Psychosis. It's a very powerful book. I often get asked. I often get asked to do, I've written a few books myself, I often get asked to review other people's books. And I kind of reluctantly agree because I feel bad if I say no. As soon as I started reading Emma's book, I was completely gripped from the first page all the way to the end. And it's one of those books where I actually felt bad when it finished because I was missing the story. So it's a fundamental, it's a really powerful book. So I recommend it to anybody. Go up to her and get yourself a copy.
Well, that was a really successful day. Sorry, I didn't film the selling of the books and stuff because it was actually quite stressful. People were giving me money and I was trying to keep track of it all. And in the end, I've pretty much sold nearly all my books. And I've only got money missing for one of them. Whilst I'm in London, I'm taking the opportunity to check out a Romahome that I've seen on eBay.
Starts first time every time. It's been there all day.
This is Dougie. Oh, Dougie.
Dougie.
And actually, he's this world-class photographer.
Sir.
Terry was the victim of the most fantastic ailment in the annals of medicine. Thus ends the life of a man whose courage and will to survive lasted until the very end. A man whose fantastic story.
Well, you just look, you can't miss it. See that? You just twist that. That's a water tank.
So it just drains out of there?
Yeah. You just twist it and then the water will come out.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Thank you. It's so retro, I love it. This end is like a 1950s Baker-like American diner. And this side is more kind of 1980s. I mean, it was made in 1999, but it's still got that kind of 80s vibe. And they just don't make them like this anymore. I love it!
You ain't go up now, she wants to see you.
Is she alright?
On my first journey, after 5 years, I'm driving from London to Manchester on my own in a new vehicle for me. This drives like a tank. It does 0 to 60 in about half an hour, and then it brakes at about the same speed. Everything's jiggling and wobbling. But even before I switch the engine on at the garage, when I put some fuel in the tank, the guy in the car next to me, this was before I'd even ever driven the camper, he said, "Hey, I like your camper van." So I've joined the camper van club.
Terry was the victim of the most fantastic ailment in the annals of medicine.
It's not really a camper van though, because the Romahome body is built onto a car. And this one's on a 1999 Citroen C15. It's a 2-berth, which is perfect for me. And there's even a little bit of room up there for a small child. Do you remember that missing book at the conference, at the Open Dialogue conference? I've got a message from one of my followers. Have a look. Hi Emma, I bought a copy of your book at the pod conference last week and suddenly realised I have no memory of paying for it. How much was it? My student, who I gave it to, was extremely pleased, by the way. Regards, Jane. Thanks, Jane. It has been rectified. Heading off in my little van for my first trip down to Devon. This is a dream coming true. Well, I've made it come true. It doesn't just happen by itself. I'm all connected up. I've got my phone all Bluetoothed into my stereo system. So I'm gonna play some music. I've got my GoPro stuck on the dashboard. I've got everything all in the bag, all stuffed in places, so hopefully it's not going to rattle. plan. I'm so excited. The plan was to go on to Dartmoor and park up by bench tour, so I could wake up in the morning on the moor and go for a walk. But apparently, since the pandemic, there's been a bit of a problem, because to get around lockdown, so many people were going up onto the moor and parking up overnight in their camper vans and stuff. So they've actually clamped down on it, and people are being fined. So I've had to come to a campsite. I actually couldn't have planned it better, because this is the actual campsite that I moved into and lived in a tent for 6 months in order to start writing my book. I used to walk down to this river every morning and get in and have a swim. To walk across the field. It's quite far across the field to the toilet, and I noticed one day that I was just walking really fast, and I thought, that's my head wants to get that fast to the bathroom, but what does my body want to do? And I slowed right down to my body's pace, which is so much slower than this rushing around modern day city rhythm, and I was so healthy and so grounded when I lived on this campsite. If you want to get your copy of My Beautiful Psychosis signed, check out where I'm going to be on my tour at emmagood.com/tour.